grocery prices. He promised me cheaper prices on groceries. And that has not happened. Not only has that not happened, I am getting my food stamps taken. I am getting my cash assistance taken. I am getting my Section 8 taken. I am getting all my welfare governments taken. I did not ask for this. I would not have voted for him if I knew this was going to happen.
Do you know what drives me insane about these people that say that if I would have known, I wouldn't have voted for him, or I did not vote for that? Yes, you did. The first thing that bothers me is yes, you did. You see, you voted for those things. You just thought it would happen to someone else. You were perfectly fine with other people losing programs, losing things that would benefit them. You just didn't think it would touch you. You thought you were safe from losing these programs. And the other part is they say they didn't know. Bullcrap. Bullcrap. The left, independents, lots of different economic experts, doctors, scientists have been screaming about all the horrible things that Donald Trump would do. We told you about Project 2025. We told you how many times his name was listed in Project 2025. And we told you how many of his own staffers were in there as well or helped write it. But you guys didn't believe us. You guys said fake news. We tried to warn you. You didn't either want to listen, or your bigotry and your racism, your homophobia and your sexism didn't allow you to see what was coming. So the bed that you made, you now have to lie on. The sad thing is that so many of us are in the same bed with you, but we didn't vote that way. We knew that these things were going to happen. We knew that this was going to cause havoc for everybody. And look, I'm sorry for you. I feel horrible that you're going to lose all these benefits, but you did vote for this. So if you want something to change, I suggest you call your congressperson and tell them to put a leash on Donald Trump and stop him in Congress. I suggest instead of just coming on this app and whining and complaining about what you yourself created, you call your representative and do something about it. Otherwise, we here on the left and independent, we don't care. We warned you. All my love.
What do you love about Donald Trump?
I love the man. He's a real man, and I've been to 5 Trump rallies, and it just doesn't, we need him. This country needs him.
For what specifically? Like, what's the one thing when you say we need Donald Trump? What's the thing
He's an excellent leader. He made lots of changes that really got our country moving, and these Democrats are ruining our country. They're just hell-bent on turning this country into a communist country, and they're going to try socialism first, then it'll go to communism, and we can't have that.
Where do you see that you're talking about evidenced in the last few years?
Trying to go to socialism? Well, let me think about that, because there's lots of things, but.
So far in this interview, it's a standard release of generic talking points about how evil, scary, and socialist those libs are, and how Trump is a superhero that we all need to stop them. So time for the details that Trump never let them in on.
All the regulations, big government. The government just keeps getting bigger. Hiring IRS agents to go after we the people, we the taxpayers that work to support the lazy Democrats that refuse to work. And that's why we need Donald Trump. Everybody in this country needs to work if they're able.
Right, but, our joblessness numbers now are quite low in this country.
Are you sure about that?
Well, I'm going off the metrics that we use for every president and every administration. The Department of Labor statistics say that we have very low unemployment now.
How can that be? How can that be when we have...
I'm not a labor expert, but I'm going off the numbers that we credit Trump and Clinton and...
Illegal aliens in our country that are unaccounted for, and just because there's jobs out there, that's not Biden's doing.
I'm not saying. I'm just talking about the current state of affairs right now. Like whatever presidency, whether it's like I said, Clinton or Reagan or Trump or Biden, we go off of Department of Labor statistics to say where the joblessness rate is, the unemployment rate, inflation, all of that. So right now we are in a good spot historically going by that metric. The one that we credited Donald Trump with is the one we now credit Joe Biden with. So I'm asking, what is it about this time that makes that different for you?
What has he done to improve our country? What has Joe Biden done to improve our country?
Well, Michael Short did just mention the jobless numbers, but the only time you're allowed to mention jobs is when you're claiming that those scary migrants from the South are taking all of them. But let's get back to those specifics.
You can bring up the jobless thing, but our country is being destroyed.
Can you get
From
more
within.
specific? Though I mean, I'm just asking because I have no horse in the race. I'm just asking what it is specifically.
I don't know. I'm not well spoken enough to tell you that, but he's
I mean, you're saying he's destroyed the country. How has he destroyed the
the
country?
open border is the main thing. Yes, and his liberal policies and these liberal Democrat judges that are letting criminals out on our streets that are, nobody's held accountable when they break the law. Stores are closing because of all the violence. They're terrible.
If President Biden were to come up to you now and say hi and introduce himself, what would you tell the president?
You probably don't want to know.
No,
But
I
Joe's
wouldn't
gotta
have.
go. Joe's got to go. He's so demented, he doesn't even know where he's at. He's not running the country.
Who's running the country then?
Oh, Barack Obama.
He's running the country?
Yeah, from behind the scenes, yep.
Oh.
Joe Biden's not capable of doing anything. He can't even figure out how to get off of a stage.
USA! 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 USA!
This is the way it's going to be. It's a 4.5-hour flight up to Phoenix. We'll put this plane down in the middle of Kansas and dump people off. I don't care.
I'm done with that.
We will do that if that's what it takes.
I
So,
got people in
behave,
Kansas City.
please.
Wow. That's some business. We got no authority.
Isn't this American Airlines?
They did this the same thing on Friday.
Unreal.
So Trump wants us to start buying American product. Well, let's look at this in the supermarket at ShopRite. These are product of USA red peppers. Look at the quality of these peppers. And then product of Mexico. They're a little more expensive. Look at these peppers. Again, yellow peppers of Mexico. Look at these peppers. And look at the peppers of America.
Donald Trump admits he couldn't care less if prices go up because of his tariffs. In fact, he says he hopes they do. Now, we have come a long way from prices are going to drop on day one. Now, this took place during a recent NBC interview where Donald Trump was pressed on whether or not he told auto execs not to raise their prices. And eventually he just blurted out, look, I don't care if they do. I hope they do. Here you go. In an unreleased interview, Donald Trump tells NBC he couldn't care less about auto prices. Yeah, we've come a long way from prices down on day one, like I said. And we tried to tell you, Trump supporters, this man does not care about you. He does not give a flying flip about anybody but himself. And we have gone from, I'm going to get your prices down on day one, to maybe tariffs will, maybe they won't cause inflation. There's going to be some small pain. Now it's, I hope they do. I hope they do go up. I don't really care. Why should he care? He doesn't feel our pain. The people around him, the billionaires in his cabinet, don't feel our pain. I hate to say I told you so, but here we are.
Miami, Florida. Spring break. Businesses are complaining that they are not seeing the revenue that they typically see this time of the year. That's because spring breakers have found elsewhere to go. There's an over police presence. There are curfews put in place. Those spring breakers found somewhere else to go where they can go enjoy themselves and not have to deal with all that drama. That's the point of spring break, the point of a vacation. Trash left behind, you hire people to clean that stuff up. You can't have it one way, and that's y'all's problem. Y'all want it one way. And I used to love going to Miami. But now, I just don't, red state makes sense.
Good afternoon, Senator Tillis.
That's how Northern Warbeck think about you southern white trash. That's what the ones who won the Civil War think about you. Do you understand that inferior bad genes, inbred stupid, you and all your people?
Yeah, Tom Tillis. Afraid of death threats. Then get the out of office.
I would like to talk to Tom Tillis and ask him why he thinks it's okay for him to take money from this nation and it over. Why does he think that he can tell his employers to go themselves every day, all day long, and sell his now and his employers over? Don't he know that his employer can take a axe handle and cave his head in?
And I suggest, well, you're going to have to be very careful about going out in public or talking to anybody that's real, that's an actual American, because we hate you.
If I didn't have a broken back in Southern California, I would spend the rest of my life in federal prison for a chance to cut your throat.
What a time to be alive. And by alive, I don't mean thriving, flourishing, or skipping down the sidewalk humming a tune. I mean barely holding it together while watching the political equivalent of a slow-motion car crash, except the passengers actually voted for the driver. Twice. Yeah. We're talking about today's America, a place that somehow feels both familiar and completely unrecognizable, like waking up and realizing your childhood cartoon hero has become a conspiracy theorist with a podcast and a bunker full of beans. Thanks to our good old friends in the red hats, those MAGA diehards, Donald Trump is back in the Oval Office again. And let's be real, it's not the comeback tour anyone asked for. But here we are, living through Make America Great Again, the remix. Only this time, it's less political revival and more budget horror movies.
So the question that I'd like you to answer is, what is an overwhelmingly good thing that Donald Trump is doing that still makes him a preferable president in your mind?
He is trying to put out there that the United States is, just because we are existing as the richest nation in the world, we are not going to be taken advantage of by every other nation solely based off the fact that we have found a way to be the richest nation in the world. I think that
so the overwhelmingly good thing he's done is he's made it so other countries are not taking advantage of America. Can you please give me an example of how other countries are taking advantage of America?
He's setting a precedent saying that just because, again, we are the richest nation in the world, it does not mean that we owe every other country.
Can you give me a handful of examples of how other countries have taken advantage of America?
I can. The trade deficits that we have with most other nations in the world. We have those trade deficits to regulate the fact that their economies do not produce the amount of money that our economy produces. Correct?
Incorrect. What do you think a trade deficit is?
We have those trade deficits between them because
I'm asking you to please tell me what you think a trade deficit is.
That the country we are currently trading with makes more off of us than we make off of them.
So it's that we buy more of their goods compared to the amount of goods.
No. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. What I said was they make more off of it. It has nothing to do with the actual amount of goods. It has to do with what they make off the goods being traded.
So that's exactly what I'm saying. So a trade deficit is when we spend more money on their goods than they spend money on our goods, okay? And a trade deficit is not indicative of another country, Maddie, thank you so much for the rail dive, ripping us off or anything bad. In fact, a trade deficit is not real, it's not tangible. If anything, it is just a tool that accountants use to calculate trade between countries, okay?
You're not going to make a fight and see your girls. I'm good, Chef. Remember your girls. I'm good, Chef. You don't care about the girls? You don't care about the girls. You don't care about the girls. Just hush. You don't care about the girls. Hello, everybody. Dustin. American Airlines. Fuck the sober. Start. Here we go. Dustin. Here. I'm not kidding. You don't care about the girls? So I want to tell you about Shelby and Dolly. Shelby and Dolly. Shelby and Dolly. Remember them. I'm going to do it for you. Shelby and Dolly. That's it. Shelby and Dolly. Remember them. Shelby and Dolly, remember them. I am. I'm just trying to get home to the girls. Look, I have most paper dogs. Fuck off, bitch. Fuck off, bitch.
The director of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, said that it was calling for Trump to be assassinated somehow. And the director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, agreed. And they have called for an investigation into James Comey, upstanding citizen, former FBI director, because they are pretending like they think he might have been calling for violence against Donald Trump. This is so ludicrous. This is an affront to any patriot, any American citizen that supports the First Amendment. I mean, this is an absolute slap in the face. And Republicans, MAGA, go on and on about, those snowflakes, Trump derangement syndrome. And then they can't even take some guy saying, yeah, we should 86 the president. Are you serious? 86, I have never heard anybody use the term 86 to mean kill. I have heard it mean get rid of. I think that's what everybody has heard it mean. That's where it originated. It's from 86ing an item on the menu of a restaurant, getting rid of the menu item. That's ludicrous. It's genuinely embarrassing that these people with a straight face would go on TV and claim that this was any kind of a call for violence. I would be so embarrassed, really, to be a MAGA person right now.
I just saw a video of a Trumper on here. You've probably seen it. And he's basically like, I voted for Trump. These tariffs are killing me as a small business owner. I need some help. Some Democrats in the comments are trolling him, of course. And someone commented like, I love this for you. And the Trumper replied via video. And he was like, oh, you love this for me, blah, blah, blah. What the fuck did you expect? We told you this and we got called elitist. We told you the impact tariffs have on the economy and you were like, you guys think you're so smart? This is basic knowledge. So the guy makes the video back and he's like, I knew Trump was going to tariff. I thought it would push people to build in the USA. I'm going to explain this to you like you're 5. Have you ever watched Shark Tank, okay? And a product's on there and the sharks go, why is it so expensive? And the person goes, it's made in the USA. Why do you think they say that? Why do you... Everything's more expensive in the United States. That's why we get things internationally. And as a small business owner, I'm surprised you don't know that. You didn't think this would start a trade war, huh? Like last time? And last time was significantly less than all the tariffs he's doing this time. Like, you don't get to play victim, okay? You were warned, you ignored it. Now you're paying the consequences for voting without knowing how things work.
MAGA is completely triggered. I mean, they are hysterical, complete titty babies, full-blown meltdown because former FBI Director James Comey posted to his Instagram 8647. Here we have Donald Trump Jr. and he posts just James Comey casually calling for my dad to be murdered. This is who the dim media worships, demented. And I just want to take you on a little trip down memory lane. James Comey handed the presidency to Donald Trump in 2016 when he did that bullshit report about Hillary Clinton in the days leading up to Election Day. So this is especially a dagger to them because they can't understand how people can jump ship. They do not understand how people get liberated from the Republican MAGA media echo chamber. But let's just remember who they are. These are the people that attacked the Capitol, beat up cops, defecated inside the Capitol, wanted to kill the vice president, posted all of the time 8646, who was Joe Biden, with impunity. Does the left melt down about this? No, because we don't get triggered by bullshit, but they do. They love to be perpetual victims. Put this up. In 2024, here is a truck that Donald Trump posted, Long Island, New York, and it has, it's one of those Al-Qaeda wannabe trucks with all the big Trump flags in it. And there is a picture of Joe Biden, like, tied up, bound, and gagged on the truck. And this is like a permanent picture on the trunk of this truck. And Donald Trump posted this just before the election. Donald Trump had supporters that wanted to kill the vice president, and he pardoned them. So this is just so rich and just classic hypocrisy. But this is what they do. They melt down, and they are so triggered by anyone that calls them out. Next up, we have Kash Patel. And he has mobilized the entire federal government. Let's go ahead and put this up. Ron Filipkowski says the entire federal government has been mobilized for Seashell Gate. It's all hands on deck. And Kash Patel, who before he was FBI director, just trafficked in the most vile MAGA podcasting world imaginable. And he posts, we are aware of the recent social media post by former FBI Director James Comey directed at President Trump. We are in communication with the Secret Service and Director Curran. Primary jurisdiction is with Secret Service on these matters, and we, The FBI.
I just want to very quickly clear the air for all the libs out there. Myself and the other maggots are very happy that we voted for Trump. I'm very proud of him, actually. Look, you may not like maggots, but he united us. He united us against science. He united us against common sense. And he especially united us against prosperity. I didn't vote for things to get better. I voted so that the libs who made me insecure on TV would feel pain. Am I feeling pain? Sure. But all that matters is that we're all going down together. That is the American dream. At the end of the day, I don't want to be right. I want to be cruel. And I don't know, I think that's really beautiful.
I know it's been a rough couple of weeks for MAGA Republicans, but I feel like we can do better. The Supreme Court's not cooperating, Trump's agenda is backfiring, Doge is imploding, and yet I feel absolutely compelled to point out that this horror movie that's playing out across the headlines, this was their choice. When Biden left office, wages were growing, GDP was growing, the stock market and our retirement plans were up, unemployment was rock bottom. The only thing that was actually a problem, grocery prices, had actually leveled off over a year before Biden left office. But that wasn't good enough for Republicans. They were so hysterical over the idea of a black woman taking office that they shot the country in the foot to stop it from happening. But that's left them in quite the predicament, because now they're forced to fix all the problems that they swore we had, and that has left them in an absolute panic to find the problem severe enough to warrant the insane treatment they've inflicted on us. So like a deranged doctor in a horror movie, they're chopping up our retirement plans, cutting down wage growth, hacking away at the GDP, carving holes in the federal workforce, slicing trade deals in half, and severing alliances, all in a desperate, destructive, and transparent attempt to cure a disease we never had.